Yeah, so these are the key lessons that I wanted to share with everyone, जो मैंने सीखा है इस book से, so that everyone can read about Disney more. So the first lesson was the relentless pursuit of perfection. Bob Iger के लिए nothing was good enough. Good enough was never good enough for him. He always wanted to do it perfectly. उसके लिए small things also mattered a lot. In fact, when he was working in ABC Sports, where he started from, he was actually under someone who जिसने एक रात को पूरा का पूरा show बदल दिया था because he was not happy with the way the show was going. So he changed the entire show because those small details mattered so much to him that he said कि perfection is the small details are the key to the perfection that we want to achieve. If you're doing something, you should do it greatly or you should not do it at all. तो perfection बहुत important था उनके लिए. He used to say कि हम लोग जब भी कुछ भी good enough करना चाहते हैं तो हम लोग ये सोचते हैं कि our mind stops us. It tells us कि you can't do it. बहुत कम time है. You do not have the resource. But actually it's only the mind that is stopping us. When we actually achieve that perfection, we see कि वो good enough और perfect result में कितना difference है. So the first lesson that I learned from that book is good enough will never be good enough. You should never settle for mediocrity. You should always do great things. If you're doing something, do it great. The second lesson that I learned from his book is you should know yourself. If you're not honest to yourself, you will never be able to, lead a team. अगर आपको पता है कि आपको क्या पता है, if you know what you know and you know that you don't know, you should be honest regarding both the things. So he was promoted from ABC Sports to ABC Entertainment. उसको script reading नहीं आता था. He didn't know anything about animation. He didn't know anything about drama. He didn't know anything about how a TV drama network is run. So he was very frank about it. He told to his teammates that I do not know how to do it. I do not know how to read a script. You will have to teach me. हर एक चीज तुम लोग को मेरे को सिखाना पड़ेगा. He never let his ego come in his way कि if I am not understanding, I will not ask questions. He used to ask a lot of questions. He used to learn, and once he learned, then he used to trust on his instinct. He didn't used to say कि I don't know this, so you take the decision. He will first learn, then he will understand it, and then he will take the decision. So he was very true to himself. He used to say कि I will try to understand everything and I will try to learn. The third thing that I learned from his book was you are not your past. So Michael Eisner बोल के हम लोग के डिज्नी के CEO थे इससे पहले जो थे, तो उनके अगेंस्ट रॉय डिज्नी जो नेफ्यू था वॉल्ट डिज्नी का, उसने एक कैंपेन लॉन्च किया था सेव डिज्नी बोल के. आफ्टर दैट ही वाज द सेकंड इन लाइन. ही वाज गोइंग टू सक्सीड इट. तो जब ये CEO बने तो he didn't want everyone to perceive him as a second in line of Michael Eisner. He didn't want to say कि the mistakes he has done, he will also do the same mistake or he was responsible for those mistakes. And the second thing he didn't want to do was he didn't want to push Michael Eisner under the truck. कि दो ऑप्शन थे इनके पास, वो दोनों ही नहीं करना चाहते थे. पहला तो ये नहीं बोलना चाहते थे कि माइकल आइसनर का फिलॉसफी आई एम गोइंग टू फॉलो एंड आई एम गोइंग टू डू द सेम थिंग्स दैट ही डिड. Neither did he want to blame him for the things he did, because why do we push someone else under the truck? So he whenever the board asked him what he's going to do about the past mistakes, he used to say कि the past is done. We are what the future is. Future mean he wanted to improve. Now we have the broken pieces. What matters is how we take it forward and not how we look into the back. तो वो past को हमेशा avoid करना चाहते थे. He want to have he used to say very neutral about Michael Eisner. He didn't used to say anything bad regarding him, the decisions that were taken. just जो फर्स्ट बोर्ड मीटिंग था उसने डिज्नी एनिमेशन का रिजल्ट्स प्रेजेंट किया था, which was very very bad, but he didn't put the blame on Michael Eisner. Instead he said that now let's focus on what we can do ahead instead of blaming what we can do, what we could have done. तो उन्होंने उस बोर्ड मीटिंग में 3 प्रायोरिटीज सेट किए थे अपने लिए कि these are the 3 priorities and we are only going to focus on these 3 things. He had a thing that if you have set your priorities very clearly, the entire organization should know about it, and he used to communicate it to them. He used to say कि priorities are very important. Once again, I think बहुत noise हो रहा है पीछे से.
We can hear you, Sneha. You can carry on.
Okay, fair. So he used to say कि priorities are very important, and from the top of the organization to the bottom of the organization, everyone should know about them. If you don't know people what they are going to do and how they are going to do, they will always be lost. So you have to have priorities, and you can't have n number of priorities. You only have to have 3 priorities. His main focus was only on these priorities, and at the end of the book, we'll see that how he achieved all those priorities over his 15 years of journey. So he always used to focus about the future. He didn't go back to the past. He didn't regret about the decisions he took in the past, because he knew that in a creative industry, he will take decisions that might go wrong. Because if you have to have innovation, if you have to have creation, you will have to creativity, you will have to have give the person the benefit of risk. You have to give the person ki, you can take risk, you can fail, but you have to do great things. You can't settle for mediocrity. So the third lesson was this. And the fourth lesson was trust the people around you. So जब वो Disney join किए थे, when Capital Cities was so he started from ABC, which was taken over by Capital Cities, and Capital Cities was taken over by Disney. तो जब वो Disney join किए थे, तो Disney में एक system था, strategic planning का एक division था. तो everything in Disney was centralized. जो भी decision लेना होता था, strategic planning का लोग ही लेते थे. Nobody was given the autonomy or the power to take decision on their organizational level. For example, if I'm making a movie, I should know about the budget better than the strategic planning team. If I am running a theme park, I should know about the ticket price more than the strategic planning. But Disney में ये culture था कि anything, any decision, any major decision was done by strategic planning. So the strategic planning group में all the people were MBAs from Harvard or Stanford, and they were given much more weight than the people actually running the departments. So he made sure that when he becomes the CEO, he removed the strategic planning decision. He made it actually very small. तो उसका एक conversation है जो बहुत interesting है. जब एक हांगकांग में पार्क खुलने वाला था, तो they had to discuss about the pricing of the ticket. कि how do they price the ticket? The strategic planning का the guy, he called him that let's discuss it with the people. So he said, do you think the people who are running the park can't make this decision? So he said they can. So then he said, if you think they can, then they should. And if you think they can't, then they should not be in that position. So you will have to give them that power to make the decision. If he's running that park, he will have the power to make that decision कि वो क्या price पे price होना चाहिए. Obviously वो 100% autonomy नहीं देना चाहते थे, authority नहीं देना चाहते थे, but he want to make the entire culture very decentralized. Not one department running all the research and development can be making decision for the entire organization. So he removed the strategic planning decision, and जब वो remove किया, बहुत moral boost हुआ लोगों का. In fact, one executive told him कि अगर यहाँ पर church bells लगा हुआ होता Disney में, then they would be ringing right now because the wind has changed. So he brought a very big change just by trusting the people that were working for him. Don't villainize, understand. So empathy was the greatest quality that he had. Now I will cite 2 stories regarding this. First story was of Roy Disney. So Roy Disney ran the Save Disney campaign when Michael Eisner was in power, and he ran that campaign, and he was totally against Michael Eisner, and then Bob Iger took the position. So he was totally against Bob Iger also. He thought that wo Michael Eisner ke hi footprints mein he will work, and he will not work for the benefit of Disney. He made various claims in the media about him. Now Bob Iger was the CEO. He could have done a legal case against Roy Disney, because Roy Disney was no longer a part of the board. So he could have done a case against him. He could have created controversies against him. Rather, he chose to directly call him and talk to him. He called him, he talked to him, and he wanted to understand from him, what is the problem? Why are you so against me? Why do you think that I do not deserve to be the CEO of Disney? Then he understood that Roy Disney was never respected in Disney. Even though he was the nephew of Walt Disney, he was never respected in that organization. He didn't get the respect he deserved. He was told to leave the board when he achieved the age of 70. So उसके साथ उन्होंने बात किया. He gave him the comfort that, you can talk to me. You tell me what your problem is, instead of going into a litigation against him. And he just understood that he just wants a little respect. He just wants to be understood. And उन्होंने एक agreement sign किया. He told Roy Disney that, you can come to our premieres, you can come to the opening of the parks. and you will have an office, we'll give you a consultancy fees. You just have to take away all the controversies. You have to stop doing the controversies and take away all the Save Disney campaign. And that is how he won Roy Disney, which was one of the most, he was the biggest enemy of Michael Eisner. He started an entire campaign against him, and he won him so simply without going into any litigation. So he wants to say that you do not have to villainize someone. If someone is doing something against you, and if you do not have any personal agenda with them, then they must be thinking about something, or something might be bothering them. You just simply talk to them, you respect them, and respect is a very small gesture which can make you make great deals. And that is how he cracked Lucasfilms also. For George Lucas, Star Wars was his baby. He can't just tell him कि you know, I want to buy you, I want to acquire you. तो उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे से उसके साथ डील किया. He told him that, you know, I want to carry forward your legacy. Star Wars concept won't be hurt. So he always had the empathy towards people. So this was the main takeaway of this book, that you have a lot of things, a lot of problems in our life can be solved through respect and empathy. I have 2 more lessons. This was again one more powerful chapter, that you do not have to shy away from big swings. So the first board meeting that he did with the Disney board, and he told that the Disney animation is not going anywhere. Since the last 10 years, they have not given any huge films. They do not have any new characters coming in. He told in that meeting, Michael Eisner and Steve Jobs, the owner of Pixar Films, had a very complicated and a very public relationship. They did not used to like each other. They both had their own egos, and that destroyed the relationship between Disney and Pixar. Even Steve Jobs went on TV to say that now he's not going to work with Disney, which destroyed their relationship. The first thing that Bob Iger did after becoming a CEO, he called Steve Jobs. He said, you know what, I want to work with you, and I think we can work together. He didn't shy away. And in the first board meeting, you know what he said? Instead of working hard on Disney animation, hiring new people, we should instead buy Pixar. Now, anyone in that board would think that he is crazy. Why will Steve Jobs sell Pixar films to him? Why will Steve Jobs, in fact, and even if he sells it, he will sell it at a very high price. That will not be feasible for Disney. But he didn't shy away from that idea. He instead made a call to Steve Jobs and said, you know, I have a very crazy idea. And Steve Jobs said, you know, say what you want to say. So he said, I want to buy Pixar. And Steve Jobs instead replied that, you know, that is not the craziest idea in the world, and we can consider it. So many a times we shy away. We think that our idea is a very stupid idea. The leap of faith is very big, or the end where we want to reach is very away, and we should not start right now. But instead, we should just trust our instinct. If we want to do things, we should do great things, and we should just push the needle towards it instead of shying away. Agar wo wahan ruk jate, if he would have listened to the Wall Street people, he would have listened ki nahi ye why will Steve Jobs sell a very good company to you? So he would have never cracked that deal. And because of the relationship with Steve Jobs, he cracked the relationship of Marvel. He acquired Lucasfilms. So everything started from there. So if you have an idea in mind, and if you think you have the capacity and the capability to do it, and if you have the belief in yourself, do not shy away. Just give it a try. You might fail, but ultimately you have to give that try, because that decision changed the entire way Disney worked. The last thing which I learned was innovate or die. So when Netflix was coming in, when Prime was coming in, everyone thought ki OTT is the new cool. This media channels nahi chalenge, now they will not work. So Disney mein bhi yahi tha. They had an entertainment branch, they had a broadcasting team, but they thought ki now this has to stop. You know, you have to innovate. You then either become the victim of disruption, or you can become a disruptor yourself. So then they thought ki, you know, we should innovate. Why can't we create a technology that will eliminate all the intermediaries, and we will go directly to the consumer? So they created Hotstar Plus and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. So that is how they innovated. And innovation was not so simple. When you're changing an entire business model, you are telling people the things you were doing will not generate profit, and now you need to do a new thing. It is not simple. Change is not that simple. So what he did was, he told now he was expecting people to make content for Hotstar Plus or for Disney Plus. When you are making a movie, you are spending millions on it. And when you are releasing it on theater, you know millions will come back. When you are making a OTT platform movie, you are spending millions on it, but you are ultimately getting a subscription of 999 rupees. So you don't know how profitable it will be. आज के डेट पे if they are getting a compensation, they are getting a compensation on how the movie or the channel is performing. Now they will get a compensation on how OTT will perform, and it will not be profitable from the first day. So how do you motivate them financially? So he then gave them an option ki I will grant you stocks and they will vest according to your performance. So he removed the traditional ways of his business and he made a new business instead. He acquired a lot of companies, and whenever uska ek bahut acha cheez tha, whenever he used to do a merger, when people do a merger, they think they are buying the property, they are buying the intellectual rights. But actually, in a creative business, if you are doing a merger in any business, you are also buying the people. And that is where the value is. If you destroy the culture in which they were working and impose your culture over it, it will not work. You cannot destroy the creativity. So he innovated, and once in the beginning I told he made 3 priorities. So those 3 priorities was he will give a very good content. So that content he was giving because of Disney animation, because of Pixar films, because of Marvel. He gave they made movies like Black Panther, which was hugely appreciated. They made Avengers Endgame, the Force Awakens, they made Frozen, they made Lion King Part 2. So they were giving very good content. So his first priority was checked. The second priority was he was incorporate technology. He will not become a victim of the technological disruption that was going on. And he made Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. And the third was he was get a global reach. So when he acquired Fox Studios later in 2019, he got a global reach. He got to communicate with people around the world. Because of Fox Studios, he acquired Hotstar in India. So now he was having India's market, he was having China's market. And Disney became a very big company. It became 5 times the size it started. So he took that risk, he strived for greatness, and achieved it through very simple principles that he followed. So the most important quote that I understood from that entire book is, if you approach and engage people with a little respect and a little empathy, you will be making impossible real. Pixar, the acquisition of Pixar was impossible. The acquisition of Lucasfilms, the acquisition of Marvel, and not making them like Disney. The movies were not like Disney. They did not Disneyfy those movies. They had their separate identities. The culture was totally separate, and they still were under one company and performed for one person. So this was the crux.
What was the last statement?
They did not Disneyfy the company, bhaiya. Matlab, they did not make.
The biggest takeaway. What is the biggest takeaway? Say.
This quote: if you approach and engage people with respect and empathy, the seemingly impossible can become real.
Respect and empathy.
Yeah, the way he dealt with Roy Disney, he could have done things very differently if he would have let his ego come in between. Like he chose very simple paths. He chose to talk to them and not let his ego come in between.
Very good.
So these are the pictures.
You can make a presentation of it, क्या? हर एक टॉपिक के ऊपर तुमने जो बोला है, can you make points and make a presentation?
I can.
Do it and send it across.
Okay. And this is now what Disney looks like. So it was actually indeed a ride of a lifetime. So he said कि जब हम लोग Disneyland में जाते हैं, they give an e-ticket for the famous rides. So this was an e-ticket which he got. He spent 45 years from ABC to Disney, and it was a ride.
National Geographic is also owned by Disney, yeah?
Yeah, it was owned by Fox Networks for Disney. Thank you.
Sneha. Thank you, Sneha. Brilliant.
Hello.
ठीक है. So like is this book a memoir or an autobiography? क्या वो एक certain
I think
portion के
it's a
बारे में
memoir,
लिखा है?
but he has written it himself. मतलब it's not like reading it from a third party perspective. It was like कि you are talking to him. He's actually talking to you through this book.
Okay,
And
मतलब
he
बस
was
एक
not
certain
bragging
portion
about
के
it.
बारे में बता रहे हैं कि जो उसका जर्नी फ्रॉम ABC टू डिज्नी तक का ही बता रहे हैं या फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग जब से वो बर्थ होता है
From
तब से वो
starting,
बता रहे हैं?
from starting, from his childhood.
Okay, okay. And one more question was कि obviously when Michael Eisner जब वहाँ पर था, so he disrupted or polluted the culture of Disney by not allowing other talents to grow. Similarly, मतलब पूरे management में he placed people that were in favor of him, and उसी वजह से शायद स्टीव जॉब्स भी उस टाइम पर भी पिक्सर को एक्वायर करना था बट नहीं हो पाया था. But when
Actually,
they did acquire,
माइकल आइजनर का पर्सपेक्टिव इस बुक में इतना बुरा नहीं है जितना एक्चुअली पब्लिकली है. Michael Eisner was also a very great leader because he also transformed Disney. He gave them Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. वो बहुत कुछ किया था. He also was for perfection, first for small things. He also transformed Disney, but he had a different way of working. He wanted everything to be centralized. सब कुछ numbers और सब कुछ data पे नहीं हो सकता है. कुछ instinct पे भी होना पड़ेगा. And that is what he focused on.
okay. So, but like after Pixar got acquired, and उसके बाद शायद Steve Jobs became the largest shareholder into Disney. So Steve Jobs himself was a very जिसको बोलते हैं कि बहुत autocratic और अपने आप में decision making करने वाला आदमी. So how was that relationship post acquisition, and how could he manage that part with him as well?
So this has a very emotional part to it. When they were going to acquire Pixar, na, so before 10 minutes of making the announcement public, Steve Jobs told him about his cancer, and he told him not to tell anyone about him, and he gave him an option that you can walk away. You do not have to do this deal. But he still did that deal. Steve Jobs did not used to like many of the things. He did not understood कि Marvel का comics क्या है? Why are you buying comics for $4 billion? Why are you making 3 portals? But he used to ignore those things, which Steve Jobs didn't approve of, because he knew that Steve has a different way of working. He used to take his advice every time, but if उसका match नहीं होता था उसके साथ, तो he used to very respectfully, let it go. It's okay. He will not understand this part. And Steve Jobs, जब उसका डेथ हुआ था तो फिर बॉब आइगर ने उसके वाइफ को बोला था कि we had this conversation 10 minutes before we were going to announce this deal. So उसके वाइफ ने उसको बोला था when he came back home and after the deal was announced, and Steve Jobs की वाइफ ने उसको पूछा था कि can we trust this person, and he told that he loves him. So they had a very cordial and a very warm relationship.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.